Good afternoon. Welcome to the second press conference for the MANUKA Doctor David Nyika Road to the Title. Thank you for joining us today. Well, my name is Craig Stanaway from Duco Events, and what we are going to do today is we are going to announce David Nyika's opponent. We're going to introduce you to a couple of fighters on the undercard, and media-wise, we will give you anything and everything that you want this afternoon. So if there's a shot that you haven't got, we've got a couple of snappers here. Appreciate Photosport, Getty Images here, Television New Zealand, TV3. If there's something you've missed, something you haven't got, happy to come back and do it for you. We're not going to finish the press conference beforehand. There will be stare downs today. In the case of stare downs, sometimes someone gets in the way, whatever it is, don't be afraid to say to me, hey, we haven't got the shot, and we'll do it again, all right? Thank you for coming along. It is exciting. Tables, pre-sales for tables have gone on sale in just the last couple of minutes. There are 90 tables at the events at the Viaduct Events Centre for September 14, where Joseph Parker, Noel Thornberry and David Higgins are bringing glamour back to boxing. I can assure you from the numbers that I've seen that the public has responded. There's a huge demand on tables. So when public sale goes on tomorrow, not sure how many will remain. So it's already obvious that the public is behind David Nyika. The public's behind David Higgins, Joseph Parker, Noel Thornberry bringing events to town and Duco Events. I have mentioned this before, how grateful I think we should all be for David Higgins taking the risk. You know, it's a very hard market out there at the moment, the recession, and boxing's a tough business. It's a very, very tough business. And the faith that the public has in Duco to do this event, people have come back to me and responded to me as well. It's just been incredible. We're excited to see where this goes, and the first step on the road to the title is very, very important. If David Nyika gets it wrong, we haven't experienced that before. You know, we've always been in a situation where our fighters have always won fights, but he's up against a very tough opponent, a really tough opponent who everyone whom I've spoken to, we've known his name for a couple of years. And, you know, he's a tough guy. He's a very tough guy. To say a few words before I introduce people on stage, I'd like Joseph Parker, the interim WBO heavyweight world champion, to come to the stage and say a few words.
Hello everyone and good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Very excited to have David back here and to announce his opponent and to also announce the other fighters on the undercard. I think it's going to be a great event, but we're building up to it and there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of interest. Also good to see Cliff here, Cliff Curtis, this fighter being on the undercard. And you know, David's opponent, he's here and he's against New Zealanders, he's 7-7. 7-0, so he's beaten all the New Zealanders that he's fought in his career, so it's time for David to put an end to that. Before we continue, I just want to thank all the sponsors that we have, MANUKA Doctor, Taki Auckland Limited, TAB, Global Metal Solutions, Extra Staff, Intercede, Sky City, Radio Haraki, Lumo, and this is brought to you by DAZN, Duco Events, Thornberry Promotions, Star Boxing, and Parker Promotions. Thank you, everyone. And Craig, please continue.
Yes, this fight night will be broadcast globally across the world on DAZN, and it is the home of boxing. It's the app that you get, and we are going to talk to you a little bit more about downloading that app and seeing this fight. But if you want to get the tables, there are only 90 tables, they're reasonably priced, and I believe there was 99 on a wait list, so yeah, there's a huge demand to see this fight night and bring us back to what it was when we were going on the road to the title a few years ago, taking Joseph all the way. Joseph mentioned Cliff Curtis. Cliff, for those of you who don't know, was on the road to the title with Joseph. I remember being with him in Cardiff. Him and Tim came to Cardiff, and he was part of our camp in Cardiff, and he is a real boxing aficionado. You know, he has got a person on this card where we've invited a person on his card who's special to him, and it's important to understand that we're not only promoting people like David Nyika, who've got 2 Commonwealth Games gold medals and Olympic bronze medal, but fighters of the future too. So if I'd ask Cliff to come up here, and talk to me a little bit about boxing. I won't put you down there just yet, Cliff. Nice to see you again, brother.
Hey, Craig.
So
Craig, give some love for Craig. Well done, brother. You're doing awesome, bro.
Look, I'm telling a Hollywood star to talk to the cameras, not to me, but give us an idea. When I saw you in Cardiff, you were so passionate about Joseph, but you'd been to the Ruiz fight, you've been to a number of Joseph fights. This is the first time that you've got on at the base level for fighting, but you've got a young fighter from Rotorua who you've got on this card. Talk to me first about your passion for boxing, which a lot of us don't know about, and then who you've got on, who you've been looking after.
Look, just so much love for you, Joseph, and your family, and so proud of how far you've come. You know, it's amazing to see you really flourish and to see the journey you've taken. Just amazing, brother. I'm so proud of you. And it's just a wonderful Parker Promotions. That's beautiful. And, you know, to see Higgins, like, open that door for you and to be there for you and to support you, sort of diversify your interests in the game. To see sort of Duco, who's been there on the long ride with you, and also the zone, you know, getting you up there and making sure that the world gets to see just what a great guy you are, what a wonderful human being you are, you know, and I'm just so proud of you, firstly. Yeah. Yeah, so it's really exciting. And Nyika, bro, I mean, just fantastic, you know, just seeing you in the rooms coming up through the fights, and you've just delivered, you know, the two of you just doing us so proud out there on the international stage. It's just amazing to see that the engine that we have here for the fight game.
Can I ask you a question regarding? I say to a lot of people that they don't maybe remember some of our Duco promotions. It's been a long time since we've done them. From your experience, like the Ruiz fight, for example, for someone who hasn't been to one of our events, could you talk to me about what it is that?
I'm a fan of Andy Ruiz. I mean, I was there. I mean, you know, and it was, you know, just to see the caliber of that fight. It was a tough fight right here in Auckland. But, you know, that's sort of the ramp up, the platformer. Strangely, many years ago, I trained with Barry. Did you know that? Yeah, no, for a TV show. And I even trained with Freddie Roach and his team in LA at Wildcard there for a minute. And it's fair to say that I should never step inside the ring. You know, and I've had that said to me by the best.
But the atmosphere at those events.
But I love the art of it. I love the craft of it. I love the determination it takes to sort of the grind of it. You know, I mean, yeah. I just really appreciate just how much you've developed. You know, to watch you evolve, you both evolve, and sort of. And I think it's about building character as a human being, you know, building stronger people. And, you know, I think that we can only be of service to our families if we know how to grind it out and stick there to say what we're going to do and then do what we say we're going to do, you know. And I think that's a huge part of what we do. And boxing's just a great way to contain what could be a terribly negative force in our society. You know, it's just sort of aggression and sort of masculinity that could so easily turn toxic, and to discipline it and harness it and to turn it into a craft. You know, and I think that's a really huge part of being in martial arts and the fight game in general, I think. And you're two fantastic proponents of that. You're both, you know, stand-up people, and you're disciplined in the way you conduct yourselves, and you're so professional. And I know everybody that works with you both is just really proud of you both. And it takes a lot of support, you know, with Duco and Higgins and everyone in the community to help that to happen. Your coaches and your families. It's not a simple matter. There's a lot in it.
I'll get you to sit down there and bring up your fighter and Rakaya Warren and George Hooney. If you could just sit down here as well with some microphones. And I'll ask
Come
you a
on
couple
up, Rakaya. Rakaya Warren. Where are we? Over here?
Okay, so Rakaya Warren has a proud amateur background. And first of all, Cliff, in fact, it's better, Cliff, that you tell us all about him rather than me. So there we go. How do you know Rakaya?
Well, Rakaya, I guess I know Rakaya's parents really better. His mum and his dad. That's Aaron and Warren. Aaron and Tanya Warren. This is Rakaya Warren, and they're a beautiful family in our community. Again, it takes a family to grow beautiful young men, and they do a lot of work in our community out of Roto Vegas boxing gym. And they just are there in so many ways and doing school programs for mums that need a break from the kids while they're at school and need to get their fitness up. They work with, many different sectors of our community in Rotorua. And I've been watching Rakaya and his brothers, and I've just seen Rakaya, he has that discipline, I think, that impresses me most. He's a technical fighter. He's very well honed in terms of his craft, and I just really like watching the way that he puts it together in the ring, and I watch his training, and I've watched him over a number of years develop. And for me, just coming from a small town, and I still live in Rotorua, and it's like, we all need a break, and I just it's so hard to break through from here into the big game. So this is my payback to the Warren family and Rotorua and all that they do for our community. And to believe in somebody who is yet to be discovered and to follow in the footsteps of these great fighters here alongside you. I'm very proud to be associated with the Roto Vegas boxing gym and the family there and all of our community, and to sort of step alongside a young prize fighter and give him a chance to sort of get in there and take those first steps into the professional. He has a couple of professional fights, but kicking it up a level. Yeah. So
Rakaya is a super middleweight, and George, he's a 5-time national champion, and he's fought 2 times professionally so far. Now could you give us an idea of the kind of fighter that we can expect on this card? And let's get.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk, George?
Oh, yep. Because he's a skillful fighter, he has a style that it's likable style. He'll bring him in, he'll set the traps, he'll execute, he'll step out of the way, he won't get, I just try and train him to be a smart fighter while he's in there, because these boxers put their life on the line when they get out there, and I'm not that coach that wants them to take too much damage. So yeah, we work on a lot of defense and offensive work, but he'll go out there and show his skills, and hopefully the crowd likes it.
Rakaya, you're 5-time national champion. Tell us a little bit about the style of fighter that we can expect to see from you on September 14.
Well, it was a hard transition, I think, for me. I'm a slow learner, and so getting a coach like Sasi on board, we've been together for the past 3 years, and I really liked the way that he taught his fighters, especially his sons. I fought his son in the Junior World Champs, and he beat me on a split decision. Was it a split decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, split decision.
In Ukraine.
And he made me look like I was a beginner at the World Championships. And so a few years later, Sasi actually approached my father and said, I want to train your son. And sorry, what was the question again?
What kind of fighter are you? At the end of the day, when it comes to boxing, it's a show as well. What kind of fighter are you?
I like to say that train for the rounds. Go into the deep end. I like to drag people into the deep end, especially in sparring and stuff like that. I've only had 4 rounds max in my pro fights, but I look forward to getting on to those later rounds where I can slowly start, like my coach said, setting traps and getting inside their head mentally, because I know what it's like being on the receiving end of that, and it's not a nice feeling. So I trained myself to be able to drag people through the deep end and then slowly break them down, and then hopefully execute a nice little finish.
Nice. Well, we don't have an opponent for you yet, but we will, because obviously people have seen it now. You've got backing from someone pretty special there, so there'll be someone out there who probably want to knock you down and the like. But that's
What? We had 2 fighters lined up.
they're scared.
Oh man, we've had 3 fighters ready for this, but they.
Well,
Come on, guys.
I'm going to get you up. Take a photo with Joseph. If you just all stand up, please, and stand in front of Joseph. I need you guys either kneeling down for the TV cameras. Yeah, can you shoot from there, Joseph? Yeah. Will you guys come up?
Yeah. Oh, just want to excuse wearing the hat. This is just in honour of John Landau from Avatar, a great late. So yeah, I'm just wearing this in honour of him today.
Nice.
Cheers.
Just if you just take direction, please, from Brett.
Come in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
In the centre a little bit. And the right. Everyone. Yeah. There we go. Right. Yeah. And again. Nice. And one more. That's perfect. Thank you.
Next undercard fights, could we please welcome to the stage Wheeler Ma'au and Terence Reid and Alex Leopi Jr. and Noel Thornberry.
Come on, guys.
Just jump in there.
Pretty up there, Alex.
Now, Wheeler, I spoke to David Higgins yesterday and he described you as a beast. So it's a pretty great way to describe someone on the undercard. Terence, could you tell me what it is about Wheeler that makes him such a special fighter on the undercard?
What makes you special?
What kind of fighter is he?
No, he's an exciting fighter for the heavyweight division, and he's a come forward fighter. He's had good idols in terms of David Tua and of course Joseph Parker, and he utilises his height to his advantage. And as it sort of shows in his pros, he's 6 wins, 6 stoppages in the pros. He was a bronze medalist from the Commonwealth Games, and yeah, I believe he can go all the way. And yeah.
Wheeler, what would you like to achieve on September 14 at Auckland Events Centre, Viaduct Events Centre?
First and foremost, glory to God. For September 14th, just come away for my 7th one, and do what I need to do, get the job done. Yeah.
Nice. Sitting next to him is Alex Leopi Jr., who's just 18 years old and the son of Alex Leopi, who fought for the world title against Vladimir Klitschko 10 years ago, the fight that we all fought on. Heard about Alex Leopi Jr. for a couple of years. Noel Thornberry, could you please tell everyone about the special talents sitting before us?
Thanks, Craig. Nice to be back here in New Zealand. Really looking forward to September 14th. And look, as far as Alex is concerned, he's had 2 amateur fights. Probably the last one was at the age of 15. And now he's had 1 professional fight. And, mate, he's an 18-year-old, he's only an 18-year-old young man. And you sometimes forget that when you're sitting beside him and you're talking to him. But he's got all the potential in the world. His father put it to me in quite a good way. He said to me, mate, I would hate to fight him when I was 18. And I thought to myself, yeah, okay, I understand that. So the potential that Alex has got as an 18-year-old boy, well, I shouldn't say boy, he's a young man, but as an 18-year-old young man, I don't know many anywhere in the world that has sort of got the potential that Alex has got. And he's got a great work ethic too, and he's just going to get better and better and better. He's sparring some of the top fighters in this part of the world. He even sparred Wheels this morning. That's why he's got a mark on his eye there. Will's a big bully. No, it was really good sparring, and we look forward to, in the future one day hopefully working with the likes of Joseph Parker, the heavyweight champion of the world. So Alex is he's great to have around the gym. We just see the sky as the limit for the young fella. So we're looking forward to September 14th and showing what he's capable of doing.
Alex, you've had 1 year with both the Sydney Roosters and the Gold Coast Titans. Why boxing?
First of all, I'd like to thank, my Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. Without Him blessing me with the strength and the commitment and the awesome team behind me, none of this would be possible. And I was contracted to Titans and the Roosters, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity that they've given me to try and pursue my young lads' footy dream. But I just felt like my heart was boxing, and I grew around boxing. Dad was always boxing when I was young, and I just made the switch, and it was a real difficult switch. But having Noel and Dave, having my dad as my mentor, it made the switch really easy, and I'm just learning as I go.
Your father fought for the heavyweight world title against Vladimir Klitschko in 2014 in Germany. Is this a case that you're on a road to the title as well, and you're going to finish what your father started?
Yeah, I believe I can go one step further than my dad. So yeah.
Nice. Thank you, guys. I'll take you guys to leave the stage, and I'll bring up the next slide. Our main event is going to be over 10 rounds. It is David Nyika, and he's up against a very tough Australian opponent. His name is Blake Caporello. Blake, if you come forward, please. And also David Nyika. Yep, Noel. Brendan Burke, yep. So who is Blake Caporello? Well, I think Joseph's right. He's taken out a lot of Kiwi fighters, including Robert Berridge and Reese Papuni, good fighters. But for me, if you look at his his record, he's been in the ring with one of the all-time greats, who's a future Hall of Famer, in Sergei Kovalev. Now, Sergei Kovalev, in 2014, we were in Philadelphia for a fight with Robert Berridge, and Joseph actually was on the undercard, and it was a very important title fight for Robert Berridge. And he fought a guy called Vasily Lepikin, who was a Russian guy. And Lepikin came on stage and was asked how he'd been training, and he said, "I've been sparring Sergei Kovalev." And Kevin Barry turned to me and said, "It just gets worse." Kovalev is known as a crusher for a reason. And Blake is the first person ever to knock him down. And he's a serious threat to David. You look at the Royal rankings, there's 4 sanctioning bodies. He's number 13 in the WBA. Last month, he was number 15 in the WBC. David is 14 in the IBF. Now, rankings can be all over the place sometimes, but they, on those sanctioning bodies, they're all very similar. When it comes to box rec, which people look at as well, and people say that's sometimes the independent one, Blake Caporello's box rec record is higher than David Nyika. Duco's always had a tradition of putting fighters in with tough opponents, and there's none tougher than a southpaw. He's a southpaw, and they're challenging. You look at Usyk against Tyson Fury, they're very, very challenging. So it's a tough fight. It's a fight where Blake has got all the skills in the world that he's learnt. Noel Thornberry, you tell me why this is a tough fight, or how challenging this is for David Nyika in his first pay-per-view fight where everyone is going to be now watching.
I think the last time we were here, we were just discussing that David needs to hear the bell for round 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that sort of thing. I think Blake Caporello is the person to do that. He's been in the ring with the who's who of boxing over the last 15 years, and he's going to present he'll present problems on the night, new problems for David to try and solve. So He's, excuse me, he's certainly by far and away the most experienced, best fighter that David's faced to this stage of his career. And but I just believe David's got the ability to go all the way to the top. And there's some great fighters out there. Most of the really, really good cruiserweights are from this part of the world. Australia, New Zealand and the South Pacific, and including the likes of Jai Opetaia as well. And David's right up there at that level. I think the only thing between David and the World Championship, obviously we've got Blake Caparello on September 14th, but the only thing between David and the World Championship is activity and hearing the bell for rounds 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Once David's done that, I believe that he'll beat any cruiserweight in the world.
So David, I don't believe, has gone any further than 5 rounds in his professional boxing career so far.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Caparello has gone 15 times past 10 and 12 rounds. Blake, welcome to New Zealand. You're an Australian, and it's going to be live on pay-per-view. There's no such thing as a soft Aussie. Give us an idea of why you have taken this fight, talking to the TV cameras, please.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be in New Zealand, lovely country. I just believe in myself. David's up and coming, he's marketable. He's got Joe Parker behind him, Noel Thornberry, Duco Promotions. I'm just the Aussie. The last 3 years have been hard for me. I take off from my family to go to LA to train. Got 3 beautiful girls at home with my wife. And every time I'm away, it's just a chip on my shoulder. So I'm always up for the challenge. David's only been there 9 times as a pro. So yeah, he's got the amateur experience, but come fight night, I think people are ruling me out. They're all talking 3 years ago, Blake should retire. I'm only 37 years young. So I'm ready. I feel young. I'm ready to go.
Isn't that the same age as Usyk?
Yeah, Usyk. What about Badu? 40 years old, won the world champion. Age is only a number.
Brendan Burke, you're Blake's manager. Why are you taking this fight?
Look, firstly, I'd like to thank the promoters of the show, Duco Events and Joe Parker and Thornberry Promotions for putting this great event together. I think this is going to be a really great fight, great trans-Tasman clash. We took this fight because we want big fights. Blake's had big fights all his career. We haven't shied away from any fights. It's a great opportunity for us to leap forward in the rankings again and put ourselves in position to fight for a world title. So we did not hesitate in taking it. Did you guys,
Blake, did you look at David's record and see that he hasn't done long rounds? You know you can take him to deep water. You've had the experience, and Noel's just said it. You don't know until you know, until you go to deep rounds.
I'll be honest, I don't really look at the records, how many rounds he's been. I've got to get past the 5 rounds as well, don't I? So it's all good to say he hasn't done the rounds. We've both got to get past it. Everyone's always said I couldn't punch. The last Italian I fought, they were just underestimating me. They thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and we gave him the short left hand, and there you go, 5 rounds down. So I'm not falling into this. Hey, we all train 10, 12 rounds. It's simple in boxing, but once the bright lights are on, they suck the energy out of you. We don't know yet with David. So I'm here to test it. Listen, let's be honest, I hope it doesn't go that long. No one does. We don't work overtime.
David Nyika, we're all talking about you, looking through the cameras. What's your perspective taking on a guy who's got a fair bit of experience?
Yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you to the sponsors. This is a great opportunity for me to take that next leap. And yeah, thank you to Blake and his team for taking the fight, because this is it's paramount for me to get this activity. And like everyone's saying, we need to get those rounds. Seeing rounds 6, 7, 8 is important. And I didn't really know Blake from a bar of soap until this morning when I looked at his box rec and I looked at the opposition he's faced, and he's never slipped. He's like you're saying, age is just a number. I know my dad's 54, 55 years old now, and he's looking in better condition than he ever has. So for me, this fight, I need to make a statement. You've had 10 times as many rounds as myself. You've never slipped up. You've lost 4 fights, but every fight you've backed up with 3 or 4 wins. So I I take my hat off to you, but it's important for me. And by the sounds of things, you're coming to the twilight of your career. So if I can make that transition easier for you, then I'd like to be that guy. And this is, and there's no disrespect here. This is prize fighting, and we put our lives on the lines for your entertainment. And me and Blake are going to go toe to toe and bang it out for hopefully 10 rounds. But like I said, and like you said, we don't need to hear round 5. We can bang it out early.
No, we saw Alex Leopold Jr. previously, that fight in Germany where we were part of the Vladimir Klitschko circus. That week we learnt so much in boxing, top end. Blake's been in the ring with Kovalev. He will have seen that too. The experience is invaluable when you're taking on an elite level fighter like Caparello has done in the past in Kovalev. Yeah. Can you give us an idea of the intangibles that potentially you do learn by fighting someone so experienced, so good, and what you learn from it, because that's what Blake is bringing to the ring.
Yeah, well, look, that experience. Look, the thing is, David has previously had exposure to the bright lights, and I remember many years ago when Alex was fighting Vladimir Klitschko, Dean Lonigan and David Higgins rang me and he said, "Noel, I want Joseph to be on that card." He said, "I want Joseph to be on that card because I want him to have that exposure at that level, like a World Heavyweight Championship fight." And so we all worked to try and do that and get. And Joe was on the card, fought fantastically. And then when Joe's opportunity came along with the likes of bloody Andy Ruiz and them sort of guys, the big time and the bright lights never fazed Joe. And Joe did what he had to do, and he's the heavyweight champion of the world. And David just recently also has had that opportunity to appear on probably the biggest heavyweight card this century with Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. And so he's had exposure to the bright lights. He's been to the Olympic Games. He's won 2 Commonwealth Games. And, Dave needs to be able to get through this level of opposition. And the experience that Blake brings to the table will hopefully develop David and help him become a much, much more complete fighter going forward, because you learn something new every time you step into the ring against a different opponent. Blake's going to bring plenty of tricks to the table that we haven't seen before. 36 fights, 32 wins. His previous bout was against a guy that was ranked number 9 by the WBA. He was 20 wins, 2 defeats. Blake stopped him with a 1-punch KO in the 5th round. So David stands to learn a hell of a lot on September 14th. So we're just looking forward to it, and we're going to prepare accordingly.
Blake, you fight southpaw, and David's told me he can fight southpaw. I just wanted you to talk about that southpaw thing and whether you can force him back into orthodox during the fight.
To be honest, it doesn't bother me at all. Left hand, right hand, they slip the same way, just a bit of distance control. He can change southpaw. I'll hit him for the left hand over the top. He can go right hand orthodox. I'll still hit him for left hand. So we still use the jab. Everything's the same, just a bit of distance change.
David?
What was the question? Was that?
Yeah, just the southpaw.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'll do whatever makes sense on the night. I'm capable to box as a southpaw or an orthodox. It's just I often find that there's nothing worse than southpaws hate fighting other southpaws. What's worse than fighting another southpaw is an unorthodox southpaw, if you know what I mean. So it's just another trick up my sleeve. But I'll just do whatever makes sense on the night.
Are you unorthodox southpaw?
I'm an unorthodox. I tell you what, I often don't know what I'm doing in southpaw. So 100%. No, often I don't know what I'm doing in southpaw. So how could anybody else know?
I still don't know what I'm doing. 27 fights in.
We'll figure it out.
All right, I think we'll end it there. And what I will get you guys to do, we are going to do a stare down. And Joseph, I'd like you to come up please, for this. So, guys, yes, please.
Yeah.
No walking in front of the cameras.
do somehow. I think it must be a shoe with big boots on.
Okay, can you do, can we just stare down, please? Fist up. Looking at a count.
A bit closer to you if we can. A bit closer. Yeah. Further up.
Security, can you move up?
They're looking this way. No. Dave, looking this way. Yeah. Nice. Over here. Down to me as well. Down to this bottom camera. Yeah. Sorry, just into this one. Thank you. Yep.
Could you just stand straight as well and stand and
Looking here. Yeah. Straight in the camera. Yep. Yep. And fist up, last one. And looking here. Yep. Up here. Yep. All we can. Nice. Thank you.
all right, thank you, team. We're going to end the press conference now and invite you for one-on-ones. Anyone you would like to talk to, happy to do it. Remember, tables are now on sale. Pre-sales started just an hour ago. The public goes on sale tomorrow. Please go to ducoevents.com to check out those things. And remember, it's going to be live on DAZN. Thank you again to MANUKA Doctor and all our sponsors for getting behind us. Auckland Unlimited, TAB, Global Metal Solutions, Extra Staff, Interseed, Sky City, Radio Hauraki and Lumo. Remember, this fight is brought to you by DAZN, Duco Events, Parker Promotions, Thornberry Promotions and Star Boxing. Genuinely appreciate you all being here today. We have a number of other fights on the undercard, including a couple of celebrity bouts I'm heard. This is going to be an exciting fight night. David Higgins, Noel Thornberry, Joseph Parker bringing glamour, red carpet, black tie, back to boxing. Looking forward to seeing you again very soon.